All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Weird Together. We talk about how being weird is the best thing you've ever done. And we're doing a series now of all the amazing psychics and healers that are native to Ohio. Today's guest is Sam. Say hi, Sam.
Hey guys.
All right, welcome to the show. I want to start just by asking, what's your origin story? How did you get into being a basic witch, as it says on your shirt?
Um, you know those weird kids that hang out in the background with a whole bunch of books? I was that kid, and my parents made a terrible mistake by telling me that any answers I ever wanted, if I couldn't find a person to answer them, I could go to a book. If you don't want your kid to end up being an eclectic witch with all sorts of crazy ideas, don't leave them alone in a library.
So, what was a book that was really inspirational for you when you were really young?
It was actually an old encyclopedia book that said magic and witchcraft.
Hmm.
And whereas everyone always told me that magic wasn't real, witches were fake, that book actually explained everything that I ever felt. And at 8 or 9 years old, it was weird on how much it actually made sense.
Yeah.
And once I found that one encyclopedia book, I don't recall the actual full title, let alone the author. I just remember it was black with silver lettering on it, and it opened up a brand new rabbit hole.
And so, who's been your favorite nonfiction author with all things witchy?
Actually, Dorothy Morrison, her
Okay.
book, The Craft, after I started really getting serious about doing more than just reading, but start practicing it.
Hmm.
Whereas she's more of a Wiccan path writer than a open one. But even with her book, it clicked and it was excellent I was about 13 when I started her book, The Craft, and it just it laid down a beautiful groundwork for me to get started with. I actually still reference a lot of the appendices for herbs today, just to in case there's one where it's like, all right, I don't have jasmine for dreams. What else can I use?
And outside of that, is there a book for herbs that you really love or for plants?
Off the top of my head, it's actually more of a medicinal book. It's called Lost Remedies.
Oh, I've heard that one.
And whereas it's definitely less witchy, all the things that you can do with literally stuff you can typically find in your backyard is fabulous.
So, what's your favorite plant so far?
It's definitely not the prettiest guy on the block, but I absolutely love little clover flowers. I've yet to find out a good way that they work with what all I do, but I definitely think that I'm going to be this year starting to kick around the idea of using them in my optimism blends.
Hmm.
I typically make a lot of loose incense to use around the house and to put in with my manifestation kits. And just every time I look at them, they give me a nice, peaceful happiness feeling.
Yeah. I agree. I absolutely love clover. We our yard, I seeded it with a lot of clover a couple years ago. So our yard is mostly weeds on purpose. So you can kind of tell which house is ours since I live in the burbs.
Actually, I love the fact that somebody did what I'm hoping to someday do if I ever go from being a lifelong renter to actually finally putting down roots somewhere and buying a house.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely radical here in this part of Reynoldsburg because you can see all the well, actually no, my friend's house down the road is the same. Like theirs is full of dandelions. Either side of me, pristine chemical lawns, and then we have all of
Ugh.
wilderness.
If only your neighbors knew just how awesome a lot of those plants that they're killing are.
I know, or the fact that they're also obsessive about bringing the leaves in, and I'm like, but in the fall, and I'm like, but what about the The lightning bugs. They need those.
And don't a lot of other different insects use those for nesting and whatnot?
There's a lot. Yeah, some of our pollinators need them. Yeah, like leaving your leaves on the ground is really important for a lot of different things.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, don't a lot of caterpillars even use them?
Absolutely.
And I'm a nut about butterflies.
Yeah, we ended just raking them all into the backyard. We took most of the fence down, but we left it up with this one problematic neighbor because she doesn't understand boundaries.
Oh, there's always one.
Yeah. So yeah, I get it. So since the theme of the fair is pollinators, what is your favorite pollinator?
I'm not gonna lie, it is definitely, it looks similar to monarch butterfly, but I honestly can't quite think of the name of it now. I know that it had very similar markings, but it was black and yellow. And as weird as it is, I'm not even a fan of the color yellow, but on this butterfly, it's like, you know what? That fits you like a beautiful dress.
Aw. Awesome sauce. So back to books, especially because I was watching a whole huge podcast about Terry Pratchett last night. But who is your favorite fiction writer when it comes to stories about witches or how they're portrayed in the media?
Funny story, I have never read one.
Okay.
I have read the Harry Potter books because I was growing up as they were coming out, but I
Mhm.
don't really count those. I look at those as more of a coming of age type of series more than anything. But I tried the Sweep series. It didn't really click with me. I
Mhm.
tried Secret Circle, same thing. It didn't really click with me.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm just too judgy when it comes to fictional witches.
Okay, so what rubs you the wrong way about fictional witches?
The fact that quite literally everyone seems to think that it is perfectly all right to essentially make fun of a legit practice, but we can't do that to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because have you noticed that you don't really see that with doctors,
Right.
lawyers, you don't see that with retail, you don't see that with other religions.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be specifically just witches.
Got it. Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, I'm sure that the authors did a fabulous job with the story portion of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm almost as bad as if you take a cop to a cop movie. You're holding the gun the wrong way. You didn't check your blind spots. My dad might have been a cop for a hot minute before my birth, so I got to hear all that stuff.
Yeah, my boo has a master's in nursing, so if there's anything medical, anything on TV, she's just getting. I'm like, let's watch House. He's just mad the whole time.
I mean, I'll grant that they do little mistakes here and there with other practices and other faiths, but they
Mhm.
don't seem to do the same level that they do witches.
Well, I mean, that's because they're literally portrayed as being evil. Because you always think
9 times out of
the
10.
Wicked Witch. So I mean, that's my big gripe is when they're always portrayed as automatically being the bad person, especially in Disney.
Oh God, yeah. But I
Yeah.
will give Gregor Maguire credit. Even though
Mhm.
technically Wicked isn't actually about a witch,
Yeah.
Wicked Witch of the West, I
Yeah.
do love that he actually gave her a good enough backstory to make her have a darn good reason for ending up the way she did.
Yeah, and I actually haven't read the book yet,
Read it. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it's a heavy, heavy political read,
which I don't mind.
but it was so worth it when I was probably about 16 or 17 when I read it the first time. The musical and the I haven't watched the movie because I got to lucky enough to see it on Broadway, so trying to get to that level, I refuse to be disappointed by something that's nobody's fault but mine.
Oh my gosh. Um, I completely agree with you. There's been so many remakes of really beautiful um Broadway productions where the movie's just
Hmm.
so flat. Like for me, the it was Sweeney Todd with Angela Lansbury Like seeing that in high school changed my life. I didn't see it live, it was a tape, but still, I'm like Angela Lansbury, right?
Yeah.
And then watching, even though I love Tim Burton, I had such a hard time with the movie. Because, but then again, that was also the production that like inspired me to go into horror theater, right? So I'm like, you're never gonna.
Yeah.
There was one good production I saw in San Diego, but my biggest critique was you guys didn't use enough blood. And they had the budget. They had the budget to use more than a gallon because I was using like 5 gallons in my shows.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because little kid me still absolutely loves musicals. I
Mhm.
got to see Wicked with Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth.
And I can't
I
imagine
can't watch the
stopping
movie.
that. Yeah.
And the fact that even though I was in the nosebleed seats, I got to see in Gershwin Theater.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard for any movie to live up to that.
Hmm.
So nothing against those guys. I'm sure they did a great job, but
Yeah. Yeah. So is that your favorite musical? Wicked?
it's definitely one of the top ones.
Okay.
I have no shame in saying that even though I seem like a normal person, I have no problem singing and dancing.
I mean, I think all people should be allowed to spontaneously burst into song wherever they're at.
Considering the Buffy episode that I still remember to this day, closet Buffy fan, I accept my life. But just when they had the musical demon coming in, it was awesome.
That was an amazing episode. Have you seen the Star Trek episode where they all burst into song?
No.
It's part of Strange New Worlds. The Klingons do not do opera. That's all I will say.
Well, now that I've got a note of it, I can't forget.
I'm like, boo, let me watch that one. He's like, no, any episode but that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, with as much as I eat, breathe, and sleep music, you would think that I work with musical deities. Not the one, really.
Yeah, well, it's interesting how music comes through in magic. I had because I've been playing music my whole life, right? I was one of those kids who was blessed to like have a piano in the house and get trumpet
Oh,
the whole time, right? So I was really blessed. So, and we always listened to like a lot of operetta, like Gilbert and Sullivan. Like music was just a huge part of my life. Not that great at it. And then I get a divine timing reading from a friend, and she's like, "Oh, you have music in your future. Like you're gonna heal with it." I'm like, "No." I'm like, I would not like if anything, I could have maybe been a session musician, right? That's my skill level, even though I love
yeah.
it. And then it finally came about that it actually has to do with tuning forks, and it's not about musicality, it's about just the vibration of music that my friend was picking up because I actually intuitively taught myself how to do biofield tuning with tuning forks on the way to a retreat when my other speaker canceled. So it's really interesting how the things that are like a part of our lifetime, how they show up in our healing, but in unexpected ways. So, what is your relationship to music and the healing that you do?
Honestly, it really just helps me clear my mind out from everything going on so that I can focus on where I am and what messages are coming through. Beyond that, I've yet to find a way to really help music be included in everything, just because it seems like if I'm doing any of my readings, any of my work I do, I actually, as weird as it is, I actually have to have it silent. I might be able to have some drums playing
Hmm.
if I'm doing a reading or doing any of my manifestations, but I absolutely cannot find a way to also use tuning forks, sound bowls, none of it. It actually sounds like nails on a chalkboard to me when I try.
Okay, fascinating. I also visit you need silence. That's the message I've been getting this last week because I've literally been driving around with my radio off and just having more silence in my life.
Honestly, silence, I like it, but it worries me at the same time because I know that I get too open to messages. And I really do try to respect the privacy of people around me. It is a very solid effort, but if it's too quiet, I pick up on things that I'm like, should I do apologize. It's like accidentally tipping over someone's purse and something falls out where it's like, oh.
So, what's the wildest thing that you've picked up accidentally from someone?
Thank God this was a couple of years ago, so this is actually pretty safe. So I forget why, but you know how typically grocery stores have like little background music playing?
Hmm.
For whatever reason, the grocery store I was in did not. And it was a really quiet day in the store. And the person in front of me was buying a bouquet of roses, right? But they also had just this very bland looking candle. And I'm thinking, that's an odd gift to give to somebody, but okay. But then I found out that they were for two different people entirely
Yeah.
because I saw the ring and I'm thinking, well, they must be both for your wife. And I'm thinking, well, hey, I have no judgment on a lady that likes a bland candle, but also likes flowers.
Hmm.
The bland candle was for the wife, the roses was for the side dude. Not side chick, but side dude. And I'm thinking, you should really, whoa. Only reason why I knew it was for the side dude is because I was getting severe weird vibes. Like, you look, there's no judgment on which way you're swinging, buddy.
Hmm.
But while the cashier was asking how his wife was doing, because I guess he was a regular or they knew each other outside,
Hmm.
I got the reason for the weird vibe when the dude got a call from his boyfriend because his phone was loud enough to hear a very masculine
Yeah.
voice. Honey, I'll be on my way there soon. And I'm thinking, well, that definitely explains the not quite vibe I was feeling, but
Hmm.
you do you, buddy.
All right.
Now, in a reading, it was a couple that sat in front of me
Hmm.
and they were wanting a relationship check-in.
Oh, yeah.
It is very hard to find a PC way so that they can open the conversation when they're ready
Hmm.
to let a guy that looks so happy in his relationship know that the chick's been cheating on him for a while.
Yeah. I haven't had that come up in a couples reading yet, but yeah, that's
I felt awful
yeah.
because like how do you do this without apparently I was so vague he it went way over his head, but her face.
Hmm.
I guess they had the conversation afterward because he came back a couple days later.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, dude, I got some stuff if you want to heal heartbreak.
Yep. And I had one in the opposite direct. Well, so there's a couple and we did her reading and then he wanted a reading too. And she wanted to hear all of it and I had to send her away. And she was steaming. She was livid. And I'm like, when are you going to propose? Because I didn't want to spoil a surprise, but I'm sure they had a conversation because she was assuming there was all these bad things when it really was a very, very beautiful thing. But I'm like, I had to acknowledge that. But yeah. Mhm.
And that is unfortunately the worst thing is you always find that anyone that is either getting a reading for the first time or if they're asked to kind of step away, they always think it's something bad.
Yeah. Actually, I mean,
And it's terrible.
I know, and it's just like some things are private, and that's not a knock against anybody. And then
Exactly.
this one space that I do readings, it was in the middle of a fair that happened every month in San Francisco area. And I was literally in the middle of everything, and you get groups of friends. There'd be like six friends, and they're all crowding around listening to their
Oh,
friend, and they're just taking turns. But I always found that the fifth person didn't actually want the reading and was only doing it because of peer pressure. And I got really good at being
no.
like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Like, you're okay. And they'd be like, and they would be like, but me giving them permission to not get a reading was a huge wave of relief when they go about their day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've definitely had to save a few husbands from that one.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for those guys because, like, dude, I promise, I don't, we are good if you don't want to do this.
I usually pull out the runes for the husbands. Do you have a different tool or do you switch tactics when you switch over to husbands?
Actually, I'm able to kind of switch energy pickups person to person with my cards. Runes I found I can do in my manifestations,
Hmm.
but I can't use them as a divination tool. I
Interesting.
have tried so many stinking ways, but it's like, okay, can we figure out the why for this, please?
Hmm. Yeah, that is fascinating. So how long did you have you been doing runes?
I've tried runes off and on for the last 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
I even tried actually an oracle deck that
Hmm.
someone was super sweet
Hmm.
and gifted to me because they knew that I could use them in manifestations because of how often I'd help them out with kind of learning a different spell.
Hmm.
So they thought, oh, well, maybe you can use these in your card readings. And I'm thinking, you are so sweet. But actually, ironically, my neighbor recently cleaned out a lot of her stuff and gifted me her set. So might be trying again.
Oh, are those the white ones that come with the Ralph K. Bloom book?
Actually, yes.
How
And
did I
they
know?
are delightful little buggers, but
Yeah. Well, I found mine got
even
everything changed when I made my own.
that might be something I need to do because I'm not gonna lie, when motherhood started, I pretty much
Mhm.
dropped all crafting
Yeah.
because trying to raise a kid and figure that out when you're still a kid yourself,
Yeah.
18,
Hmm.
pretty much the only thing that didn't go to the wayside was trying to figure out how to do motherhood work and still practice.
Yep. Uh,
Because quite literally, I am very sure that the only thing that kept my sanity during all of that, because typical angry teenager, was literally just constantly doing my calm spells.
yep. So what spell do you do most often for others or for yourself?
For others, I actually try to almost completely avoid. I will advise all day, every day,
Mhm.
but I always tell them, while I could do this, it'll work better if you do because you want it more than I do.
Yep.
I absolutely could, and you might get a bit of a result, but if you want the full maximum results, it's kind of like if you buy a car for someone or if they buy the car themselves. You'll get something that they might like and they'll be able to
Mhm.
tolerate with, but they'll like it better if they just go get it themselves.
Makes sense because there's some modalities that say that you can only manifest for yourself, that you can't manifest for others. So where do you
If
stand
it's a
on that?
gift,
Yeah. Hmm.
I think that the rules kind of bend a little if it's a gift for someone else,
Hmm.
if you give yourself the mindset that it's a gift. But I've still found that while I can, it works better if they do it themselves. And hey, I am all too happy to even lend a hand in while you're doing the spell, just to give it a little extra kick. But I always tell people you're better off because you want it more.
Makes sense. So you said you put together manifestation kits. When you're working with clients, what do you see as people's biggest block to manifesting what they want?
They're afraid of being happy.
Okay.
They want it. They're dying for happiness, whether that comes in the form of calm or a supportive partner, or even just kicking up their divination abilities just a little bit more. They want it, but they're afraid of actually letting themselves have it because they're afraid of losing it all over again.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking, while that is totally a legitimate and valid fear,
Hmm.
find one thing in the entire planet that stays exactly the same,
Hmm.
that never changes. The only constant in this world is change. That is the only thing you can depend on.
Yep.
But I think once I help them realize that everything isn't a cycle, but everything also comes back to itself.
Yeah.
I mean, look at just our seasons alone. There's a reason why we have spring, summer, winter, fall. They
Hmm.
all go in their cycles, but they all always come back. Not necessarily the same, but they come back.
Right. So, what is the message that you're hearing from this particular winter?
Honestly, that it is going to be a year of endurance.
Yeah.
Not necessarily how strong are you in being able to survive all the things that come your way, but how creatively and cleverly can you problem solve to get where you need to go?
Got it.
Because, I mean, just our recent Snowmageddon alone, we all still had to get through it one way or another, right? We all prepared as best as we could, but we still had to get creative in how we did it.
Yeah.
Because if anyone in your area was like me, there were more than a few people snowed into their driveways and legit could not get anywhere. So they had to figure out plan A, B, and C for work, grocery shopping, keeping the kids from burning down the house.
Hmm. Yeah. No, and our street's the last one to be plowed out of the whole neighborhood.
Oh, so you
So,
definitely,
so the few people that I see in person, I'm like, I'll see you on Thursday. I'm just not doing Monday or Tuesday, and just stayed in. But I'm actually
yeah,
grateful
I'm not gonna
for
lie.
flexibility.
I made a solid effort in still being able to go to my readings and do a little bit of door dashing because I do both.
Mhm.
And I tell you what, I definitely decided that all readings would be virtual if possible. And DoorDash could wait a day or five.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Talked about manifestation this winter. The other message I'm getting is like, don't do anything right now just for the money. Like, if your choice is between
Yeah,
comfort and money, at least for the month of January, my answer was like comfort. So,
yeah, more or less. But I'm not gonna lie, it's been nice to see all the signs of spring the last couple of days.
it has been, yeah.
I
Like, I can see grass right now in my neighbor's yard, so that's exciting.
oh, I was ecstatic when I was just out about running errands and I got to see a couple of robins and a blue jay.
Yeah.
Those three just were like, "Thank you, I needed this." Because I hate cold weather. I understand its necessity for all the things.
Mhm.
I was made for tropics.
Like, so if there's an island you could live on, which one would it be?
One where, as horrible as it sounds, I'm the only occupant because I feel like that would finally give me enough time to not only finally, hopefully, get good at gardening because I did not pick up my grandfather's skills of being able to keep anything alive.
Mhm.
I'm great at harvesting. I kill everything I touch whenever I try to grow it.
I understand that. It's taken me a lot of hard work to be able to grow anything. And then I found out I'm really good at orchids of all things. But can I grow cilantro from seed? No, I can't. But hey, I can rescue orchids. So And I'm very good at harvesting too.
So long as I don't try to bring it home, I can usually bring something if I'm out foraging back to life.
Mhm.
I just cannot bring it home.
So, what has been your favorite thing to forage lately?
It's actually been really mostly just random smaller flowers.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm just hitting a new stage in my spiritual and personal development because typically it's always been more the stuff I gotta dig for, roots.
Got it.
But this time it's just been like, you're a pretty leaf and you're a pretty flower. I need to borrow both of you. I think the universe finally decided it designed me to be a nomad. Roots will never be a thing.
Hmm. So did the universe decide that or did you decide that?
Honestly, I think it might have been a little bit of both because I absolutely love seeing new places. And whereas I don't mind staying in one place or another for a year, maybe two, after all, I'm like, we need a new scenery. And growing up, moving was almost the name of the game with my family. So I knew I'd stay in one place for one school year, maybe two, never three. So it's like, well, you guys kind of suck. So luckily I'll be leaving next year.
And was that all over Ohio, all over the US, world?
Actually, my parents stuck pretty close to the Stark County area.
Okay.
When they split, I got to jump between Stark County and Mahoning County, but
Cool.
the game didn't change.
So how did that change your approach to making friends if you were constantly changing schools?
I actually didn't start figuring out how to make more than what I like, and no disrespect to any of the people I've ever connected with, but single serve friends,
Okay.
where we would chat, we'd hang out, but there'd be no real solid connection.
Hmm.
I started actually finally making those when I was about 15.
Okay.
Stayed in one place for longer than a couple of school years. I blame my mother. Custody switch over from crazy moving all over dad to super crazy, very touristy mom.
Hmm.
You spend more than a couple school years in one spot. It's like, well, I might as well start actually getting to know these people.
Yeah. Hmm.
And of course, I was lucky enough to find some fellow people that had just as quirky a sense of humor as myself out in the sticks of West Branch area. So it was awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah. How big was the school?
It was actually pretty big. West Branch School District actually covers a giant portion of the country part of Mahoning. And there was easily, I want to say 2008 was a hot minute ago, so forgive me,
Mhm.
but there was easily 400 to 500 kids just in my graduating class.
Okay, that's even bigger than mine. Okay.
But I'm not gonna lie, I'm also factoring in that I went to the career center there, so there was even more schools.
Oh, wow. Okay, got it. Awesome. So when it comes to this fair coming up, do you always use the same deck or are you
For
going to
the most
use
part, I actually do because I call it my people deck.
Yeah.
I found that this little guy here does beautiful work for pretty much any time I need to do a tarot reading for another person.
Hmm.
But I still also bring a couple of oracle decks and my Lenormands,
Hmm.
and my bamboo definitely comes with me for anyone that is new to getting a reading.
Hmm.
It seems like a really gentle way to get them used to the idea that a card reading won't hurt them. I'm not going to tell them when they're going to die or anything like that. I just help them figure out where they need to start navigating their energy to make their life a little more balanced or just a little lighter.
So how does a bamboo reading work? Is it actual
Funny
sticks of
story.
bamboo or?
Actually, yes, I use 5 sticks of bamboo shoots and the minor arcana portion of a tarot deck. And I actually grab a different card for whether it's your home and family, your home and career life, your social life, how you connect with your passions, and also your emotional and spiritual life.
Mhm.
And once I have those cards out, I'm able to grab my bamboo sticks and cast them almost like I Ching or runes. And depending on how those fall in the cards that come out, I get a map of how you're doing those specific areas and where you may or may not need to kind of navigate your life a little bit better.
Okay. So it's basically drawing lines between them or separating them.
Drawing lines between, because good, bad,
Mhm.
or indifferent, as much as we would love for all those pieces of ourselves to be actually separate, they're just not.
Yeah.
But sometimes I found that people give too much energy to one spot and not enough of the other to actually be a more balanced individual and make it so that stress is not necessarily at the forefront all the time.
Well, isn't Lenormand also about the connections between things?
It can be. Lenormand actually works very similar to how Oracle and Tarot works,
Hmm.
but it's more literal, at least in my case. Whereas both of Oracle and Tarot can work on both a material and more of a mental or emotional plane.
Hmm.
Lenormand is very literal about the materialistic and what all is being thrown at you. Like, say I had a upright, we'll say upright stork card, but I also had a fox card along with it in a
Hmm.
Lenormand reading.
Yeah.
That would tell me that while you do have a new beginning coming in, you're going to have to worry about some of the fine print or someone trying to throw a monkey wrench into it, because storks are all about new beginnings and frequently even just establishing a better routine. Whereas the fox is all about trickery or just little things that are just not quite right about that new beginning or new routine in your life.
All right. Sounds pretty awesome. I haven't learned Lenormand yet. It's one of those things like maybe like with you and runes where like I keep picking it up and it keeps being sticky.
Probably, I only actually started giving it a shot because when I ran a brick and mortar store a couple
Mhm.
of years back, a medium that I was able to book on a regular basis, fabulous guy. It was one of the crazy amount of things that he did, because he wasn't just a medium. He read Lenormand, he read seashells, dominoes, playing cards.
Oh,
You want to talk about a man who definitely did not waste his years. He learned it all.
that's awesome. Although there's some things that like I think Lenormand's tricky for me because it's so structured and I'm better at intuitive readings. I could read a stack of pens or a pile of leaves easier because I don't have to memorize a bunch of things. Like there was one time I was in Montreal, I was traveling with some other psychics, and we went to an event. We were supposed to be doing one thing, but then people didn't show up. So like we're gonna do YouTube live or live, whatever. And I'm like, I didn't bring my tools. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna read the trees in the middle of winter in Montreal. And it was fun traveling with this group because we would always, we had different methods, but we'd always align on what we said. And that was my first
And
really amazing tree reading done live.
hi, Cadis.
Oh, who's this?
This would be my cat, Cadis. Funny story on how me and him got together.
Well, I mean, I do believe in the
And
cat distribution network. For those of us who are audio only, this is a black cat who just wandered in. Gorgeous. So, what's the story?
I'm not gonna lie, on occasion, I have nasty insomnia. And the only way to knock it out is with just walking around at night.
Mhm.
And this was May about 2 years ago now. And keep in mind, I'm a dog person. So the fact that I have a cat is hilarious in
Mhm.
itself. But this little guy, it's like 1 in the morning.
Mhm.
And I live in a downtown area of my city. So naturally, there's not exactly a whole bunch of woodsy spots. I'm stuck with just a bunch of residential and commercial streets.
Mhm.
Well, this little guy pops out of the bushes near a church like a jack in the box and runs up my leg. And I'm thinking, you must be very, very confused So I pick him up, I give him a couple little scritchies because I'm not opposed to cats, but I'm not typically a huge fan of them.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, you probably just need some quick love and whatever. Quick scritchies, plop him down, start walking back home again, right? Because I figure I made a giant circuit. It's time to try his sleep thing again. He follows me for over a mile.
Mhm.
And even at 1 in the morning, there's a street between me and home that's a little busy.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, I'm not so bad a person that I'm going to let you turn into street pizza when you are following me this far, you
Yeah.
psychotic little thing. So I said, screw it, come on, you're coming home with me, I guess.
Yeah. Oh,
My children were ecstatic to have a cat in the house
sure.
because I even told them, no cats. We're not getting a stinking cat. Lo and behold, someone else had different ideas.
Well, it's one thing to go get a cat, and another thing to be chosen by a cat.
And as far as his name, Cadus,
Hmm.
occasionally, if I connect well enough with an animal, they can, in a sense, talk to me.
Hmm.
With him, it sounded almost like Kalis,
Hmm.
but it's like, it's not Kalis. What is it? What is it?
Hmm.
Then me and him were just sitting and chilling one day, and it's like, Cadus? Okay.
Cool.
Don't know how or why Cadus, but okay, here we are.
Yeah. Amazing.
And even though he's rotten beyond all reason, he's a
Hmm.
sweetheart. Nothing like getting kisses at 5 in the morning because he wants breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah, we have some auto. We actually we were doing auto feeders, but currently, long story, there's 5 cats in my house and 4 people.
Ooh,
Yeah, everyone's adults, but yeah. There's just like bowls of food everywhere now. So all the cats are they now know that they will always have food. Well, I'm excited to host you for the Central Ohio Psychic Fair. For those listening,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm ecstatic for it.
it's going to be so fun. Oh, did I tell you? I decided that everyone's allowed to wear, or welcomed, or encouraged to wear costumes as your favorite pollinator. So not only will there be flower crowns, but I'm going to probably be a butterfly of some sort, and we're going to have bees all over the place. That's the vision. So very, very, very
I am
silly
so
unreal.
excited right now
Yeah, it's going to be great.
because I can't help it. I'm an overgrown child. You tell me I get to dress up, and I'm thinking, I need to come up with ideas now.
I know, that's what I'm telling you now. But yeah, I mean, if it's really going to be a Marie thing, it needs to be costumes encouraged because that's how I live my life. I encourage everyone to wear costumes.
That's because life is too stinking serious.
Well, I mean, like, why wear blue jeans when ball gowns are available?
And
Right?
how often do you actually get to wear one just because?
Exactly. I mean, for me all the time because I do, but yeah. All right. So if people aren't coming to the fair on the 11th, what's the best way for them to find you?
Honestly, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I do have a few events definitely already planned a little afterward. Parasicon in Mansfield. Get to be there again. Super excited for that one.
Yeah.
If you, for those of you that have never heard of Parasicon, it's held in the Mansfield Reformatory where they filmed Shawshank. So if that's not reason enough to go, never mind all the amazing vendors that have been there the last two times I've been.
When is that again? I know you said
That is mm, the weekend of May 15, 16, and 17.
okay.
May 15, they have kind of what they call their little kickoff party,
Mhm.
and the vendors are on the 16th and the 17th. But there's even a self-guided ghost tour, or they'll actually be hosting a few after the event on Saturday.
Hmm.
It is just a giant paranormal, insane, awesome.
And I noticed from going to fairs that Ohio really loves paranormal investigation. There were 4 booths at one really small fair.
Oh, you'll definitely find a few, but it's a fabulous time and you get to explore the prison.
Hmm. Okay. So,
Obviously, definitely be careful because it, I haven't had any experiences myself, but I've ran into people that have. So obviously go with the proper protections. Make sure that you cleanse yourself after you leave so you don't accidentally bring anyone or anything home.
okay.
Just
So,
some special little things. But yeah, for either Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, all one word, just look up Sam C. Sear
okay.
and I should pop right up.
All right. So that's Sam C. Sear for Facebook, Instagram,
And YouTube.
and YouTube. Okay. Awesome sauce. All right.
And actually, for those that love quick single card readings, on my YouTube channel, I actually offer those most mornings, Monday through Saturday, along with a kind of week ahead peek on Sundays.
Oh, awesome. So, is there anything else the audience should know about you or your work?
As much as I'll always want to give you the happy ending, whatever the cards spit out at me, I can't lie.
Got it.
I will try to make it gentle as possible, but I will give you the truth, but I will never, ever, 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 ever leave anyone that ever gets a reading from me or any advice without some way to either make it better or at least some way to make it tolerable.
Got it.
Because, yeah, life is going to throw us everything it possibly can, but that doesn't mean that we have to be stuck there trying to figure it out ourselves.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for having me. Honestly, I am super excited to actually see you in April.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And everyone listening, if you're in Ohio, come to April 11th to the Central Ohio Psychic Fair at the Church of the Sparkling Unicorn in Columbus, Ohio. We're going to have 13 readers, 7 healers, a bunch of vendors, and as you heard, costumes and flower crowns and shenanigans. All right.
And if for no other reason, just the costumes and shenanigans alone.
I mean, the shenanigans are still coming out of the woodwork, so we'll see. There's going to be some more surprises added to the schedule.
Oh, and probably a few surprises are going to happen day of. So who really wants to miss out on the fun?
I know. It's going to be amazing. All right. Thanks, everybody, and have a blessed day.